Good Wednesday evening, September 24th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. 2 people were injured last night in a head-on collision on Highway 2 near Leavenworth. One of the 2 wildland firefighters accused of traveling in stolen vehicles on their way to work on the Lower Sugarloaf Fire has been charged with 2 felonies. More widespread smoke is expected tomorrow and at least into Friday morning. Your full local weather forecast is coming up. A filing in the federal criminal case against Travis Decker says the man who allegedly murdered his own children more than 3 months ago is now dead. But law enforcement officers say that's still unconfirmed. Decker is accused of killing his 3 young daughters at a national forest campsite outside Leavenworth. Last week, searchers discovered human remains on Grindstone Mountain just north of the crime scene and then sent them to the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab for identification. Today, U.S. attorneys in Spokane filed a motion in U.S. District Court seeking to drop the single federal charge against Decker of unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. That filing said, quote, "The United States Marshals Service has advised the defendant Travis Caleb Decker is deceased." But supervisory agent Jerome Brown told NCWLIFE News his office didn't write that motion and still has no confirmation of the skeletal remains that belong to Decker. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison said today he hasn't received a forensic report from the State Patrol. Lab results attempting to match the remains and clothing with Decker's DNA could arrive sometime this week. With the case against Travis Decker appearing to draw to a close, the mother of his murdered children, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, has established a scholarship fund in their name. Whitney Decker recently created the Hope Scholarship through the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. The scholarship is geared toward dance and soccer programs for kids in the Wenatchee Valley, both of them pursuits the Decker girls loved. Organizers say the funds will help pay tuition and costs for low and middle income families to enroll their children at Fabulous Feet Dance Studio and in local youth soccer leagues. You can contribute to the fund by visiting the Community Foundation's website or by scanning the QR code you see on your screen. The Chelan County Commissioners' chambers was full of community members Tuesday morning for the hearing on the county's moratorium preventing the creation of tax increment financing areas. The moratorium was put in place by commissioners to prevent efforts by the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority to create a TIF district in Malaga for funding future projects. Many community members voiced concerns on whether the TIF district would strengthen the port's financial power without specific assurances of how funds would be spent.
Just generic to TIFs, a TIF has the ability to bring in significant development, infrastructure, roads, etc., to be maintained by all the other taxing districts, junior taxing districts in the area, without a corresponding increase in revenue. That is one of the concerns we have. The other concern we have is over time, as all the junior taxing districts have to refresh their levies, the new increased assessed value is not available for us to use to reduce the overall tax burden for all taxpayers. Those are the generic concerns we have with TIFs. We understand that the governmental entities can form TIFs with just a simple vote of their board, and the proof will be in the partnership later. If any of the taxing districts have disparate impacts, are we going to be able to go through mediation and arbitration to come to a solution to help offset expenses? Thanks, Commissioners.
For context, the proposed Malaga TIF would take another $6 million. These are funds voters intended for books, technology, and safe community places and services that benefit everyone across our region. Some states allow libraries and counties and other taxing bodies to opt out of TIF or require compensation for lost revenue. Washington does not currently provide those safeguards, and my ask is that as you move forward, you consider ways to ensure libraries are either protected or compensated so we can continue to serve our communities during these years of growth.
So 2 weeks ago, a month into the moratorium, this Board of Commissioners sent the Port Commissioners a proposed interlocal agreement which would co-sponsor a tax increment area in Malaga. So on the one hand, the board has said in its public statements that the port administered tax increment area in Malaga is short-sighted, selfish, dangerous, arrogant, opportunistic, harmful, all of those things. But on the other hand is looking to partner with the port, keeping the port as the lead agency for the TIF. This is an inconsistency that can't really easily be reconciled. So the law does not support a moratorium. It misuses a land use statute to purport to stop a financing tool that the legislature gave directly to the ports. It creates uncertainty, it delays public investment in infrastructure, and contradicts state law and infringes on the port's statutory rights. So policy disagreements don't justify a moratorium, and the port would ask that you lift the moratorium today.
Despite the port attorney's request, commissioners voted to uphold the moratorium for another 5 months, which earned applause from hearing attendees. 2 people were injured last night in a head-on collision on Highway 2 near Leavenworth. The Washington State Patrol says it was roughly 7:30 p.m. when an eastbound 2020 Ford Fusion crossed the center line and struck a westbound 2014 Buick Encore. The driver of the Ford, 60-year-old Carl J. Haggerty of Wenatchee, and the driver of the Buick, 77-year-old Frankie A. Boswell of British Columbia, were both transported to Confluence Health Hospital Central Campus for their injuries. Both vehicles were totaled. The cause of the crash is under investigation. When we come back, emergency managers have updated the evacuation levels for the 2 large wildfires now burning in Chelan County. And one of the 2 wildland firefighters accused of traveling in stolen vehicles on their way to work on the Lower Sugarloaf Fire has been charged with 2 felonies. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
School's back, but this is the kind of math we like. Over 100 slices of pepperoni, 1 giant Abby's pizza feeds up to 6 hungry people. That's A+ value, toppings to the edge. That's been the Abby's way since forever. Now go do your homework. When someone says, bring home the bacon, we know what they mean. They want Abby's legendary Bacon Cheddar Pizza, loaded with country bacon and packed with Canadian bacon. On sale now at abbys.com. This month, bring home the bacon at family-owned Abby's.
Emergency managers have updated the evacuation levels for the 2 large wildfires now burning in Chelan County. High winds predicted for Thursday prompted a larger Level 3 evacuation zone for the Labor Mountain Fire in the southern part of the county. That Level 3 area now extends to both sides of Highway 97 between Culver Gulch and Peshastin Creek. On the Lower Sugarloaf Fire, the Level 3 notice runs from Dinkelman Canyon to Crum Canyon along the Eniat River. That fire is about 30,500 acres and 27% contained after firefighters conducted backburning operations to tighten the perimeter. On the Labor Mountain Fire, containment remains at just 7% with nearly 15,000 acres burned. Former Confluence Health employees who refused to take their required COVID-19 vaccines are seeking a review from the Court of Appeals after their second lawsuit was dismissed in August. The 82 former employees claim they were victims of religious discrimination when they were let go in 2021 for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine, which was required at the time by both statewide emergency orders and by Confluence Health policy. The group has twice sued the healthcare provider over their terminations. They first sued Confluence in Douglas County Court in 2022, but that case was dismissed for inadequate grounds. Their second lawsuit, filed in 2023, was also dismissed on a finding that keeping them employed without vaccinations would have been a hardship for Confluence. No hearing date for the appeal has been set. One of the two wildland firefighters accused of traveling in stolen vehicles on their way to work on the Lower Sugarloaf Fire has been charged with 2 felonies. Nicholas Weems Smart of Central Point, Oregon, remains in the Chelan County Jail on $2,000 bond. Chelan County Sheriff's deputy says Weems Smart and a fellow firefighter were involved in the thefts of 2 vehicles last week. One was taken from a grocery store in Goldendale. Another was taken in Wenatchee, after both were evicted from the Lower Sugarloaf Fire Camp in Eniat. That car later became involved in a police chase from Old Station to Dryden. Weems Smart was arrested after allegedly bailing out of the stolen car and charged with 2 counts of possessing a stolen vehicle plus misdemeanor possession of stolen property. His fellow firefighter is not in custody, but police say they're aware of his identity and location. Coming up next, Eastmont School District has begun introducing artificial intelligence into classrooms, starting with pilot programs at Eastmont High School. We will tell you more about it in tonight's feature story. More widespread smoke in our Thursday weather forecast with windy conditions. I'll have your local weather details coming up, and Eric Granstrom will take a look at all the day's sports as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after the break.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Eastmont School District has begun introducing artificial intelligence into classrooms, starting with pilot programs at Eastmont High School. District officials say the move is to prepare students for a future where AI will play a significant role in work and in life. Although it's being used in a leadership class, a civics course, and one English language arts class at the high school level, students are not yet interacting with AI directly. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE News talked with school teachers and district officials to learn what this means for children in the district.
I think first and foremost, our students are heading into a world that will have AI as a key component of their lives, and so we have an obligation to prepare them for that. And so one of the goals we have is to help them become career ready. And that means learning how to use AI in a variety of applications. first as a tool to make them more effective at whatever they're doing, but second, to be able to adapt and learn using AI as an ongoing professional development or ongoing individual tutor throughout their lives, because that's really where we see it going. We will eventually have, we've intentionally said not for K-6. We don't think developmentally they're ready for that yet, and we want them to focus on more foundational skills. But eventually we'll have, starting with our older kids first, older being our juniors and seniors, we'll have them start to work directly with AI supported by a teacher. So they adopted that last spring, and it included an emphasis on a human-centered approach to AI. And that's something that our state has taken a lead on, but it really means that you want to start with a human having an idea or creating what you want to create, using AI as a tool, but ending again with a human using that information, finalizing it, making it their own.
Mainly, the main thing I'm using it for right now is tracking student growth. So it's good at, like, I can plug in test results, like we're still reading them, of course, but we can, it's just an easier like database system to track that and kind of target me, give me suggestions on kids that aren't growing, and maybe like another set of like eyes in a way as to why. So that helps for like intervention and bringing kids up. The other way I've been using it a lot is just taking my lessons with my learning objective, dropping it in and being like, what could improve this, or is my lesson aligned with what I want to teach, just to double check, like a second check on that. Is it perfect? No. Does it do a pretty good job? Most of the time, yeah. So that's kind of the big spot where I am with it. Also just kind of trying to figure out what it can do at this point. It's still definitely a growth, like new device, right? It's a great partner for like bouncing ideas off of. Of course, these are just, it's a computer, it's a large language model, it's not perfect, but you can bounce ideas. Like, for instance, just a couple days ago, I had a colleague help me make a constitutional convention assignment, all right? The kids were given like roles, like this table group is Virginia, this table group's New York, and they were given roles with like a secret agenda item, and they had to solve 5 different problems that were realistic to the constitutional convention. And they talked through those, and at first I was like, oh, this seems kind of like, I don't know, this might be boring. But they were in it, and like they were like talking the whole period, and I even told them at the end, I was like, hey guys, behind the curtain here, this was gonna be a 20-minute assignment, but you guys seemed to like it, and you were talking, and I was circling, and you were having like really powerful discussions. So we just kept going till we were done. And it's stuff like that would have been a really hard assignment to make and make it meaningful. But I was able to do that in about 2 hours with AI, where normally that would take like years of refinement. So for us, it's just like a really powerful tool to make more engaging lessons for students. So we're trying to get students more using this tool, because like I told them, I'm like, you need to be using AI, because it's not a matter of, in my opinion, it seems like you're going to go to a job interview and they're going to be like, how do you use AI? And if you say, I don't, they're going to say, thanks for coming in. Like, it's an expectation now in the workforce that you're using AI to make yourself more productive in a lot of fields.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Wednesday, and boy, it was ugly out there in the Wenatchee Valley and really all over North Central Washington. Let's get you right outside our weather window, and this is up in Okanagan County, our Billy Goat's tower camera, and you can see Pateros here, Brewster here, and that bank of smoke hanging along the horizon. Weather quality up in Okanagan County, not bad today. As you can see, Brewster at 69. We go over here to our index. That's in the moderate range, but look what happens as we head down to Wenatchee. 315, which is in the hazardous zone. Also 288 reported near Wenatchee. Very unhealthy. And boy, look at the difference. We showed you the Billy Goat camera for Pateros. This is the Wenatchee Heights camera looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. And yeah, it's supposed to be right here, but we have had this smoke since early early this morning, and it just didn't go anywhere, and it's going to stick around tonight as well. On top of all that, we have a fire weather watch that has now been upgraded to a red flag warning for Thursday. We're talking afternoon and evening hours, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. for almost all of us, except for the western part of Chelan County, where we could see about 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, gusts to 30. But boy, with fires already ongoing, we are hoping these fires don't spread even more. So we are really keeping our eye on Thursday. As we get past Thursday into Friday and the upcoming weekend, maybe breezy in extreme eastern Washington, not so much for us. We're going to see some more of that smoke Friday morning. We're hoping it goes away in the afternoon with temperatures in the 70s. And then this weekend, boy, it looks nice. Partly cloudy with high temperatures in the upper 70s. We're hoping this smoke goes away by the time the weekend goes around. Today, unofficially, high temperature exactly like yesterday. It's 78 degrees. 73 is our normal for this time of year. 90 our record, and that was set in 2009. 52 this morning. 50 is where we should be for an overnight low, and 38 our record. That was set in 1984. Sunrise this morning, 6:51, and it sets tonight at 6:54. Almost exactly 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark now as we head into the first part of fall. 83 for your Thursday high temperature for Moses Lake and Ephrata. Quincy, you'll see around 81 degrees tomorrow. And boy, these temperatures, folks, are very difficult to predict right now because of that smoke factor. 79 in Wenatchee, Eniat, and Chelan, 77 in Leavenworth, and 78 tomorrow. The high temperature in Cashmere, depending on how much smoke we see. All right, tonight, widespread smoke will continue. You can see our airflow out of the northwest, bringing all that smoke from those fires in our area right into the Wenatchee Valley. We'll see lows tonight into the upper 50s, so a little bit warmer than we've been seeing. For Thursday, yeah, here is that wind. High pressure to the west, low pressure to the east. Widespread smoke will still be in play as well tomorrow. High temperatures for Thursday in the upper 70s. We're going to see a pretty strong westerly wind. For Friday, lots of smoke in the morning. We're hoping that dissipates by afternoon. Partly cloudy, hopefully by Friday afternoon, and cooler with temperatures in the mid-70s. For Saturday and the weekend, we'll see a few clouds on Saturday. A very weak cold front will slide through the state. Really won't produce anything but a few clouds. Saturday's highs in the upper 70s. To end the weekend on Sunday, boy, it really looks nice, but you can see an area of low pressure just off the Oregon coast with lots of clouds and some showers associated with that. We'll move to the north as we get you into Sunday night and into Monday. By the way, Sunday's highs in the upper 70s. And here we go on Monday. Looks like more of that wind in our forecast for Monday. Partly cloudy. Lots of clouds out there with about a 40% chance that we'll see some rain showers. And boy, wouldn't it be nice. Monday's high temperatures cooling down into the low 70s. And then by the end of our forecast on Tuesday, a break between storm systems. We'll see partly cloudy skies Tuesday, even a little bit cooler with afternoon highs just right around 70 degrees. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. 58 overnight tonight. More of that haze and smoke for both Thursday and Friday. 79 Thursday, 75 your high temperature on Friday. Looks to be a beautiful weekend ahead with partly cloudy skies both days. 78 your high temperature, and then a cool down for Monday and Tuesday. Maybe a shower or two on Monday with highs then in the low 70s. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
NCWLIFE Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCWLIFE would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Hand off to Zielinski around the right side. Got away from one man, got away from two. High School Sports is back this fall on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch Eastmont, Wenatchee, and Cashmere games right here. Sponsored in part by our Platinum supporter Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, and Valley Tractor. Watch high school sports all fall right here on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. And a good Wednesday to you. How about those Mariners? That used to be a joke in the past, but not anymore. The Mariners clinched a playoff berth with a come-from-behind 4-3 win over Colorado last night. Rocky starter McCade Brown dominated for 5 innings with 10 strikeouts. Only mistake, a home run given to Dom Canzone. Things looked bleak until Seattle loaded the bases in the 8th for Josh Naylor.
3-2. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, and Caros, can he beat the throw? He did, and the Rockies get a run.
Wow, this ball torched, gone, tied game! Dom Canzone!
Goalie, he has been mashing the baseball. I just got done talking about him hitting with 2 strikes, how much better his at-bats have been, and some of the damage he's done deeper in the count. The home run's number 7 in 2-strike counts. And what a big one it was tying this game up.
And a base hit to right. 1 run is scored. Here comes Krim toward the plate. The throw is not in time.
He will face Josh Naylor. The Mariners have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Down by 2, bottom of the 8th inning. Rockies lead it 3-1. Tying run in at second.
To the gap. Left center field. It touches down. Base hit. Raley scores. JP's waving home. Julio to the plate. Josh Naylor. What a knock. What a moment. The Mariners have cashed it in the 8th inning. Naylor has put the Mariners in front. A bases clearing go-ahead double with 2 outs in the 8th inning. One pitch away. Ball game! You can't forget about next year. The Mariners are going to the playoffs.
Next notch on the Mariner belt can be the American League West Championship, which could happen with a win tonight over Colorado or another loss by Houston to the Athletics. Tonight's game gets going at 6:40. That'll be on Root Sports Northwest. Well, speaking of the Astros, the A's knocked off Houston 5-1 last night as the Astros dropped to 4 games behind Seattle in the AL West. Texas dropped to 6 games back in the wild card race with a 4-1 loss to the Twins. Kansas City stayed alive with an 8-4 win over the Angels. The Wenatchee girls soccer team remained undefeated with a close win over Moses Lake last night. The game was tied at 2-2 at the end of regulation and went to a shootout where the Panthers prevailed 3-2. Logan Gross-Didier and Cameron Garcia scored during regulation for Wenatchee. Eastmont's game against Davis was postponed due to the smoke and will be played in Yakima tomorrow. Other action last night, Ephrata topped Ellensburg 2-1. Quincy shut out Grandview 2-0. Cashmere edged Natchez Valley 2-1. Pateros down Chelan 2-1. Okanagan blasted Oroville 8-0. Brewster beat Liberty Bell 4-0. And Bridgeport topped Tonasket 5-4. Turning to the volleyball courts inside, Wenatchee swept Moses Lake in Big 9 play last night. Davis swept Eastmont in 3 sets. Othello down Quincy 3-zip. Manson swept Ephrata. Cashmere took down Natchez Valley. Chelan blanked Cascade. Omak beat Bridgeport. Liberty Bell got by Brewster 3-1. Moses Lake Christian swept Pateros. Ediot down Oroville in 3 sets. Well, the 8th-ranked Moses Lake Mavericks come to Wenatchee Friday to face the Panthers in Big 9 football. Well, We hope that happens. This smoke, we'll have to see about that. There is a plan B underway that might move the game to Moses Lake, so we'll see. The Mavericks off to a 3-0 start and have outscored their opponents by an average score of 51-11 so far this season. Wenatchee's 2-1 heading into the clash, hopefully at Lee Bopto Field of the Apple Bowl. Grant Olson, Paul Collard will have your pregame starting at 6:30. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. And how about those Mariners? Have a happy Wednesday.
And that will do it for this Wednesday edition of the NCWLIFE Evening News. Remember, you can find us at ncwlife.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app. Our channel is now available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the NCWLIFE app to your devices and share the news with friends and family. You can email us with news tips anytime at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great night.